Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel, here on Facebook or Instagram, wherever I decide to post this video. I've been meaning to make another formal video. I've been under the weather bad into the new year, but God has raised me up. He's given me strength, and um, I want to just talk a bit about promises. Of course, I didn't want to just, I kind of think I just dropped it and fell off. But I wanted to start uh, by saying thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Some of you have reached out to me personally, um, and you have made my heart so full. I, I'm doing this in one take, so bear with me. But it's it really touches my heart when when I can pray. I'm not, I've never cried on video, so I'm starting now. But I could cry because you know there's people out there that they believe in themselves so much they don't even think that they need a God. They don't think that they need to pray, and they don't think that prayer works. They think it's for the old folks. But when I tell you, when you can, when I have done this music and I ask God for specific things to come about because of this music, and I get to hear testimonies that reflect that, I say, God, you know, I'm undeserving of that, So that's why it makes me emotional, because it gives me strength to know it's not all in vain, you know. It gives me strength to know that, it what I was taught about being yourself is true. When you do music or do anything, in my particular case, it's music I'm talking about, but when you do things in a way that's authentically you, and you're not trying to be like nobody else, and you're not trying to sound like nobody else, and you're not trying to do things to cater to people's preference, and you stick to your gift, it makes room for you, and I'm a witness of that, and I'm just so glad. I'm so glad you. A lot of you are loving. You are special, and what that song means, what it's doing for you, it did for me. That's why I figured it was so fitting to share. So I want to go down the list though. I don't want to. Pardon my sniffling, but um, so when I originally uh, planned, like you may have heard me say before, Promises was the first song I had wrote that kind of inspired me and lit that fire to extend the project further than just that song. I was just going to put out that song as an original, because I had never shared an original song on social media. So I was going to just do Promises, but the idea for the project came from that. But as an artist, I'm always like looking for ways to be creatively intentional about the way I structure music and my art, and so I wanted this whole project to be very nostalgic for me and have nostalgic value. And so because of that, the first song I thought I wanted to open up the project with chronologically was a worship song. And of course that's where the let's forget about ourselves, concentrate on him and worship him. That was um a song growing up in church that we would always just open up into worship. And so I thought it'd be cool to kind of open up the album in worship. And I remember leaving the studio, and I sent the track to my sister and my mom. I said, hey, listen to this. Let me know what this remind you of. And they said, oh, yeah, we remember that. So it was a really beautiful beginning for me. And that one actually was a technically a live recording, and I was so proud of how it kind of just happened the way I hoped it would, where I could sit in the studio with my musician and he played and I sang and we were done in one shot pretty much. And I was like, okay, well, I realized that was a bit more of an easier studio day than the other songs. So I realized live recordings are a bit more, it's a weird subconscious mental thing, but it's a lot funner and easier for me a little bit as a singer. Weird, but so that was something that was super special to me, and I listen back because it reminds me of my childhood and and worshiping, and of course the beautiful instrumentation was very nostalgic as well. How he played it too. He's excellent piano player. So and then the second song I added free in there because I wanted to change the speed of the songs a little bit, and of course a little bit about that. I had my beautiful sisters, my friends, a sister named Kiana, Jalen, Monique, and myself. We just kind of got to work together to do the background vocals and do the best we could. That was actually the first recording that I worked on, so it was a lot of trial and error on that song, but I'm still proud of it. I think if I redid it, I would know exactly what to do to make it uh, more executed better. Along with the other songs as well from a musical standpoint. But so proud, so proud, so proud they had the courage to try and to have to take that journey, because you can go to people for things, but everybody's not willing, and everybody's not bold, to take a chance. So I'm so proud of them for doing that. And if they watch this, you know how much I love you, and you know how much I'm appreciative. And then of course, the hymn with my mom, my church mom, Mama Johnson. If you watch this on YouTube, hi Ma. I'm so proud of her. It's something. Excuse me. I knew it would be monumental because I love to be able to look back and listen back at things and be able to remember how I felt. And that particular song is so encouraging because we tell ourselves we're defeated a lot of times before the victory has even been decided. So that's why God is not through blessing you is such an important reminder. And I sing that to myself so often before I had decided to record that. And a funny story, the actual song was going to be God will take care of you, the hymn. But I wanted to have I wanted to just spruce it up some, and adding and doing a duet arrangement with that other song with a mother would have a more vintage and older, rustic, traditional gospel sound. And so I thought that it would be a no-brainer to ask her, and she was willing, nervous, but excited. And I love working with people like that, people that make you excited about your vision, and easy to work with. We sat in the studio, and she just did everything I asked, and rehearsed with me. We practiced, and it's a beautiful song. And I'm so glad, so glad. And my organist was the same one that played the worship medley as well. So it just came together very nicely, and that was technically a live recording as well. So I'm proud of Mom for that. The Mother Johnson was excellent on that, and so super grateful. And I'm glad that song has been blessing a lot of you and encouraging you as well. The next song, I may get them out of order, but yes, the musical interlude. So the musical interlude was actually very specifically unique because um, I always had a love since I was young for a more string orchestral type of sound. Any of you that pay attention to my music can kind of tell there's a lot of string in my music, and I've always loved that. I'm not gonna lie. I've always had an infatuation with musical scores from film or classical pieces that have a very grand sound with the cello and the violin and the synths. Even in worship music, I love me a good string, and so I wanted a live string composition of some sort, and I didn't know where I wanted to plug this in, but I had this beautifully talented musician. I had her help me with an arrangement that was sort of derived from the song "Loved by You." Maybe I don't know how many people caught that, but she basically did a minute cut of the chorus, an arrangement in a minor key with a sort of a string arrangement to the "Loved by You," the how the chorus of that how that went. And so if you listen back, you might hear the similarity, and you'll hear that in "Loved by You." So that's why I had that song right before "Loved by You" to kind of tease the song. But I knew a lot of people wouldn't hear that, unless you knew the story. So that's where that came from, because I just wanted that. I just wanted a piece of a string arrangement in there. So that's where the musical interlude came about. And then of course we have "Loved by You." Now that "Loved by You" is a personal favorite of mine. Lord, to be loved by you, oh, by you, Lord, to be loved by you. I'm not gonna lie, that I played that. I'm proud of myself for saying this one. I played that on the piano originally. I came up with it. I'm saying that because I'm a novice piano player, so anytime I get to like pat myself on the back for that, I do. But no, "Loved by You." I actually, so judge me now. You can judge my creative process if you like, but this is just me. I had exposure to a lot of different genres growing up, and it taught me to take the right things from what I learned, and I loved um, that '90s ballad music of back in the day. There's a lot of songs by a lot of like what they call great singers, and it just had I needed a song that had a certain, like, it just told this simple story and just moved with like simple chords. I just wanted something like that. I love me a good like chord that just moves, that just feels a certain type of way, that gives you, that can be sang in different ways, but just it takes you on this journey. And lyrically, you may have heard me tell it before, I love to write songs that tell a story in some sort of way. That's just me. And so I remember writing um, the first verse, and it's changed, the verses changed a little bit, but when I came to the chorus, it was a bit slower originally. But when I sent the song over to my producer, he also had worked with me on Promises, so he's the same producer that did that. And I said, man, like, I want that '90s feel, that classic '90s feel. And he asked me if I wanted like the electric drum sound from like back in the day or a more newer sound. I said I want a blend of both. So he just made it happen with the guitar and the like, I just, anyway, like a fanboy over it. But that song, and I originally too, a little sidebar to tell you, I was gonna have the ending fade out like the older like tracks used to do, because I love stuff like that. But my engineer was like, why don't we just like let the track run out and just kind of stop it at the, because it went a cappella at the end. I was like, I was kind of liking that, so I just went with that instead, because you can always change songs and things. So that song though, it has, you've all seem to been enjoying that one as well, and I want to let you know that I'm so grateful, because it's not every day you get to write songs that people like. And it would be nice to hear some covers, because some of y'all can sing and play better than you can sing "Circles Around Me." Like, Lord. So my sister was just talking about that too, about like, why don't you do a challenge so people, try to sing your songs? And I said, sis, people, the singers that I know, they don't want to sing nothing. they'll sing behind closed doors, but they ain't gonna go online. So I'm not gonna worry about that. But I hope that even if you do sing it behind closed doors, I hope that it's blessing you. But no, I'm so thrilled because that particular song was so special. So I'm glad it's been reaching you. Now after that was Worship the King. Now I wanted a song with that. I actually played that as well. I remember, I think it was like I was supposed to go to work the next day, but I was staying up late because it just came the piano. I was just practicing on the piano, and that song came to me, and it wasn't gonna even be originally on the album, but I just added it on, and I had a producer add some violin and some strings, and just kind of rethink the melody in a more worship string way. And so he did an excellent job with that. And I just wanted something simple. Sometimes you need a song that just has a simple line that you can float how you feel on top of it through ad lib. And I think that's where Worship the King came to be, where I just wanted to have a song not talking about how I'm hurting or what I need something. I need God to do this, and I think sometimes we need to just have a song where we simply just worship God, just because He's God, you know. And I think that that's one of the reasons why that's probably my second favorite song if I had to rank anything. It's simple, but it touches the heart, and I think we hit the nail on the head with that one. Yeah, I think we did. And then a crowd favorite, "You Are Special." "You Are Special" was so, you know, my mom was saying that, it sounded like something she would have sang to us when we were younger, and it's true. And I told her that's why I wrote it. But when I was thinking about that song, I wanted something that I would sing to my younger self if I was taking care of me, as a kid. Um, you know, every kid, every person, every adult needs to know that they're special, and that felt right for that reason. And actually, the one of the biggest inspirations for that song was my TV dad, Mr. Rogers. He had a song called "You Are Special," and his philosophies and his show growing up had a big impact on uh, the way my mannerism, my outlook on just how I treat people, how I view friendship, how I move, and how I live on my day to day had a very big impact on me. Even as an adult, when it comes to my approach and my the way I feel toward things. And I loved that his music was intentionally written and sang to let you feel a certain way in a positive light about who you are and even who God made you to be. And so as a Christian man, I wanted a song that maybe I could sing to my kids, or you could sing to your kids, that may feel like the way that they look isn't good enough, and that the way that God made them, created them, they have to be different than how they are naturally. Things like that. So I figured that why not have a song to let you know that just the way God made you is just the way you are. And even that line I wrote in the song, when you look in the mirror, say I love you, for what God made is just the way you are. When I was very little, I had a little micro tradition where every time I would leave the bathroom, I would just smile at myself in the mirror and then walk off. It was a weird tradition when I say it out loud, but that's where that line came from, because I think that some of us need to do that. Not everybody, because some people have a very, very inflated self confidence. So more power to you, but everybody doesn't feel that way, you know. And when you learn to love yourself, you can truly love God, because He's the one that is pleased with what you look like. So I think a song that reinforces that was so needed, and I feel like it was fitting. So I hope that that song has been a blessing to you, and for those who it has been, it's all I wanted. Um, make a long story to make this video a little shorter. Promises. I've talked about that. Super special. And Great is the Promise was the other duet that I did with my brother Justin Silas. You know, I could talk for I could talk a whole separate video about that, but I just want to say I'm glad that the song, a lot of you are loving that one. Like a lot of y'all are liking that one, and I'm so glad. Honestly, that's what that you know, that's one of my favorites. That song took different forms up until we were done with it because things change, plans change. But it's again, it's nothing better than working with people that you excited to work with, and answer the phone and show up and get things done, you know. And it just made it so it's made it so easy. It made it so easy. He wrote his verse, and I wrote mine just like I had organized it. And you know, he's a talented dude, talented singer. I mean, you know, I'm like I gotta tease him for so we could do a live project together. So I can get some more out of him. But it's just it was such an honor, because people don't have to they don't have to do things like that with you, and so it made the song better. You know, if I had just done it myself, and my producer did an excellent job. His brother actually, um, the junior, I believe, he had helped me actually arrange and come up with the melody from eh, like he was the one that arranged the original melody, and I just came up with the vocal melody on top of that, and I I worked on the chorus with I mean the verses with him, the melody of that. So it was a team effort, and I'm just so glad that I was able to add something that simply says and reminds people that we have, when we even with our own testimonies of struggle, and when we get weak, and when we're confused, and when we're deficient of 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 whatever, or we have fault shortcomings, we're able to keep in our mind how great the promise is. Because when your problems become greater than the promises of God, then you lose focus, you know. So that's why that song was so needed for the album called Promises, because I wanted the album to close out with people remembering and being encouraged that all the trials and tribulations of this life are not as great as the promise that God made to us. So isn't that worth remembering? So great is the promise you made to me. Oh, how great is the promise you made to me. Ah, yeah. Oh, yes. Ah, gotta love it. So, anyway, thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't know how much else to say, but thank you. And I hope this is just the beginning for many of you. And I'm so glad God pushed me through. He pulled me through. I got a testimony. I'm just being a little silly, but I'm so glad for this entire time, y'all putting up with me and my promotion, because I gotta promote. You see nobody behind me promoting my music, so no, I'm grateful. You know, I'm so grateful if you've texted me, called me, commented, liked, just kind of just watched and got my views up. Thank you. It really means a lot, to when you know when somebody can put work into things, and people take the time to listen when they don't have to. Thank you. May God continue to bless your souls, and you pray for me. I mean well. The devil not through it yet, but God has the final say. All right? Yeah. Thank y'all. Y'all have a good day. All right. Bye.